On Global Television News Express, Federal Executive Council approves infrastructure upgrades at nation's airports. In business, House of Representatives probes compressed natural gas policy implementation. On the foreign scene, Trump demands fair rates from Canada, hikes tariffs. And in sports, teams arrive as CAF Under-18 beach volleyball champions begin. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Priscilla Obasi. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. In detail. The Federal Executive Council has approved 987 billion naira worth of contracts for extensive infrastructure upgrades at airports across Nigeria. Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, announced this after the council meeting, which was presided over by President Bola Tinubu at the State House in Abuja. He explained that the project will be financed through the Renewed Hope Infrastructure Development Fund. President Bola Tinubu has urged governors to deepen collaborations with the federal government to ensure that the economic reforms currently underway translate into tangible benefits for Nigerians at the grassroots level. The President made the plea at a special session of the National Economic Council in Abuja to discuss economic hardship and rising cost of living in the country. This is coming days after the United States criticized some governors for engaging in extravagant spending while the country grapples with deepening economic hardship by spending billions of naira on new government buildings and luxury projects, despite widespread poverty and deteriorating public services. Meanwhile, the former Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, in a reaction, said the recent condemnation by the United States missions in Nigeria has exposed the country to global ridicule. The federal government has directed the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria to collaborate with safe governors on developing bankable housing projects to bring home ownership solutions directly to citizens. The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, gave the directive during the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria Day at the 19th Africa International Housing Show in Abuja. Dangiwa, represented by Mark Chiesche, his special advisor, Media and Strategy, said the initiative is designed to bridge the gap between federal housing policy and state-level action, while taking house ownership solutions directly to citizens as part of the federal government's Renewed Hope state-by-state house ownership and housing development campaign. Moving on, the federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to creating a supportive legal environment that encourages technological progress while safeguarding rights and promoting responsible use of creative and innovative works. The Solicitor General and the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Justice, Beatrice Jediaba, reiterated the government's commitment during the opening of a one-day sensitization and interactive session on legal use of software in the engineering, construction, and building design sectors. Jediaba observed that in today's digital age, the use of software has become the backbone of innovation, design, and implementation for workers' welfare. The Senior Staff Association of Universities, Teaching Hospitals, Research Institutions, and Associated Institutions has urged the federal government to immediately implement the 65-year retirement age policy for all the categories of staff in colleges of agriculture and related disciplines. The association made the call via a communique issued at the end of its sectorial council meeting held at the Federal College of Animal Health and Production Technology in Jos, Plateau State, and signed by the chairman, Idris Shedrak, and the secretary, Yusuf Dada. The association argued that the policy is vital for equity, institutional stability, and retention of experienced manpower in the critical sector of the economy. The House of Representatives has begun deliberations on the controversial bill proposing to move the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau (NSIB) from the Ministry of Aviation to the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. While the proposal aims to enhance independence and coordination across the transport sector, it has sparked sharp divisions among stakeholders. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
At a public hearing in Abuja, the atmosphere was tense as aviation stakeholders clashed over a bill seeking to reposition the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau under the presidency.
While it may have the political support, but it will be lacking in technical activities. This indeed may dilute, the word is may dilute its domain-specific responsiveness. It will impede knowledge sharing and weaken the functional alignment with sector-specific agencies.
However, not everyone agreed. Representatives from the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the Ministry of Special Duties backed the move, saying it will strengthen institutional independence and ensure broader oversight.
The Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation is a neutral, coordinating body, not involved in sector-specific operations. Domiciling NSIB under OAZF safeguards its objectivity, free from potential conflict of interest.
Sponsor of the bill, Honorable Isiaq Akinlade, argued that the current structure under the Aviation Ministry hinders the Bureau's effectiveness, citing institutional bottlenecks and overlapping mandates with agencies like the Federal Road Safety Commission and the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency.
This limitation undermines the Bureau's ability to fulfill its mandate due to institutional bottlenecks, lack of independence, and fragmented interagency coordinations across Nigeria's transport regulatory ecosystem.
Speaker of the House of Representatives, represented by Honorable Kwamoti Lowry, welcomed the debate, describing the amendments as a step towards aligning Nigeria with international transport safety standards. Aniete Patrick, Global Television News.
Thank you so much, Aniete, for bringing us that report. The House of Representatives is pushing for the establishment of new technicals and vocational colleges across the country as part of efforts to tackle Nigeria's high youth unemployment. Lawmakers say equipping young people with practical skills is crucial to addressing the mismatch between education and job markets. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick reports.
At a public hearing in Abuja, the House Committee on Federal Polytechnic and Higher Technical Education emphasized the need for innovative strategies to empower young Nigerians. Chairman of the committee, Fred Lagunda, says the goal is to equip youth with hands-on training, technical expertise, and entrepreneurial skills that match today's workforce demands. The hearing focused on 3 bills: the proposed Federal College of Entrepreneurship and Skills Acquisition in Zaki Biam, Benue State, the National Institute for Technical and Vocational Education in Borogo, Bauchi State, and the Federal Vocational and Skills Acquisition College in Ilaro, Ogun State. Lagunda says these institutions will promote self-reliance and economic growth by producing skilled technicians and mid-level professionals.
They seek to promote entrepreneurship studies and skill acquisition to empower Nigerians with the skills to become employable, create jobs, and excel anywhere, particularly in their various constituencies.
Declaring the hearing open, Speaker of the House, Tajuddin Abbas, represented by Awalu Gwandabe, says over 55% of Nigerian youths are unemployed or underemployed, largely due to a disconnect between formal education and the labor market.
We must therefore equip our youth with practical skills that will enable them to thrive in an ever-evolving technologically driven job market.
The House says the bills align with its legislative agenda and will improve access to quality technical education nationwide. Anieti Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
As Nigeria pushes forward with constitutional reforms, Deputy Speaker of House of Representatives Benjamin Kalu is calling for national support for the reserved seat bill, a move aimed at boosting women's representation in government. Speaking at an Australian High Commission event in Abuja, Kalu emphasized that the bill seeks to reserve one seat for women in each state across the state, House of Representatives and state assemblies. Kalu also urged Nigerians to draw inspiration from Australia's model of unity and diversity, stressing that tolerance and inclusion remains the building blocks of a stronger nation. The Benue State Police Command has announced the successful rescue of 6 law students who were kidnapped on July 26, 2025, along the boundary between Benue and Taraba states. In a statement issued, the command spokesperson, SP Edet Udeme, confirmed that the victims were safely rescued. Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying with us. If you're just tuning in, this is News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. Now we go to the business story. The Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, says the compressed natural gas policy is central to Nigeria's energy transition agenda. Speaking at an investigative hearing in Abuja, the House raised critical questions on the peace, safety, and impact of CNG rollout. Our correspondent Anieti Patrick brings us more.
Of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, says Nigeria's compressed natural gas policy is not just about clean energy, but a pathway to energy security and economic diversification. Represented at the hearing by Sada Soli, the Speaker told the Ad Hoc Committee on CNG policy implementation that while the initiative offers a cleaner and cheaper alternative to petrol, Nigerians must feel its benefits.
The essence of this public hearing cannot be overstated, as it reflects our legislative commitment to transparency, accountability, and effective policy implementation.
Chairman of the committee, Ahmed Jaha, described the policy as bold but warns that it could fail without transparency and effective oversight. He listed key concerns, including uneven distribution of conversion centers, safety issues, and lack of public awareness, urging data-backed submissions from stakeholders.
My concern is the infrastructure that will be available to service these cars that are converted. Sustainability is the most important thing.
Project Director of the Presidential CNG Initiative, Michael Oluwagbemi, says 300 conversion centers now exist in 24 states, up from just 7. He noted that 2 staff had been dismissed for misconduct, reaffirming the initiative's zero tolerance for corruption.
You agree with me that if we had started awarding contracts to build conversion centers, we will probably not have 20 of them in Nigeria today in 12 months, because they will have to go to tender, they will do the bureaucracy, money will not come out, and you know how that story evolves.
The Ministry of Petroleum, NNPCL, Federal Road Safety Corps also threw their weight behind the CNG transition and urged the National Assembly to legislate certification standards, train inspectors, and strengthen compliance across the country. Anieti Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
Members of the House of Representatives have reaffirmed their commitment to strengthen the nation's oil and gas value chain. Chairman, House Committee on Downstream, Honorable Sabas Adamu, stated that at a strategic meeting on Nigeria's economy and the petroleum sector. Ubongo Soro has details.
In a renewed push to bolster Nigeria's economy and transform petroleum sector. Industry leaders and government stakeholders have emphasized the critical role of collaboration and full implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act. Chairman, House Committee on Downstream, Honorable Sabas Adamu, says there is need for collaborative approach in order to strengthen the nation's oil and gas value chain, from transparency in product quality to the modernization of distribution system.
I want to assure you that National Assembly is not oblivious to these realities. We are particularly attentive to recent entry of Dangote into downstream distribution and the marketing, and its potential impact.
The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, who was represented by the Director of Logistics at the Defense Headquarters, Rear Admiral Jonathan Maman, affirmed that the armed forces have increased security in the coastal areas. He emphasized that the Nigerian Navy and other security agencies are working around the clock to safeguard vital oil infrastructure in order to encourage investment and prevent revenue loss through illegal bunkering and piracy.
We talk about your efficiency, though there is still room for more. We would like to talk about safety in your distribution system.
The chairman of the Natural Oil and Gas Suppliers Association of Nigeria, Bennett Corey, called on Dangote Refinery to calm its interest in getting into the distribution of petrol products. According to him, the refinery's potential entry into distribution could disrupt existing businesses and lead to significant job losses across the downstream sector.
So because of this, we now say, no, please don't go there. Don't go there. Concentrate on this thing you're doing. You're doing good. You are refining products, good, sell to the marketers, marketers sell to the end users, wonderful. Remove hand from this direct distribution.
While challenges in infrastructure, regulations, and market structure persist, stakeholders say that unity among government, private sector players, and local communities remain key to driving the sector forward. Ubong Usoro for Global TV.
The federal government has fully supported Nigeria's emerging electric vehicle industry, restating its commitment to driving local manufacturing, economic expansion, and job creation. In a statement, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, affirmed the government's support during a visit to the Saglev Incorporated Assembly Plant in Lagos. Oduwole stated that the President Bola Tinubu-led administration remain focused on fostering investment and industrial growth through policies that prioritize Nigerian business. And now we go to the foreign scene, where President Donald Trump's administration has unveiled a range of new tariffs due to take effect in 1 week on most United States trading partners. The import levies ranged as high as 41% on Syria and included a hike on Canadian imports from the current 25% to 35%. Zara Nasir brings us more.
Trump stated that the United States will raise tariffs on certain Canadian goods, having previously warned of trade consequences for Canada after Prime Minister Mark Carney announced plans to recognize a Palestinian state at the United Nations General Assembly in September. Unlike the new levies hitting dozens of other economies, there is no delay, and this begins Friday, according to a White House fact sheet. However, Trump has now sent a strong message to the government, reaffirming his earlier proposition.
Well, they have to pay a fair rate. That's all. It's very simple. They have been charging very, very high tariffs to our farmers, some over 200%, and they've been treating our farmers very badly. They've been treating our country very badly for years.
Products covered by the 2020 United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, which covers a wide swath of items, will be exempt from the tariff rate. Zahra Nasr, reporting for Global TV News.
United States President Donald Trump has threatened new sanctions while slamming Russia's military actions in Ukraine as disgusting, as he says he will spend his special envoy, Steve Wiktorov, currently in Israel, to visit Russia next. Russian President Vladimir Putin has already put a met with Victor multiple times in Moscow before Trump's efforts to mend ties with the Kremlin came to a grinding halt. Washington has given Moscow until the end of next week to cease hostilities in Ukraine under threats of severe economic sanctions. And still on foreign scene, Democratic Republic of Congo and Rwanda has held the first meeting of a joint oversight committee, taking a step towards implementation of a peace deal even as other commitments are yet to be fulfilled. The African Union, Qatar, and the United States joined the committee meeting in Washington to discuss progress on implementing the agreement. The deal in June between Rwanda and Congo marked a breakthrough in talks held by the United States President Donald Trump's administration, which aims to bring an end to fighting that has killed thousands and attracted billions of dollars of Western investment to a region rich in titanium, gold, cobalt, copper, lithium, and other minerals. Now on our sports story, where Super Eagles goalkeeper Ojo Olorunleke is on the verge of sealing a move to Nigeria's Premier Football League NPFL club Shooting Stars. Olorunleke has been clubless since leaving Sudanese outfield Al Merrikh earlier this year. The 29-year-old is now looking to revive his career by pitching tent with the Oluya Warriors. Nigeria's men's 100-meter champions and Paris 2024 Olympics semi-finalist Konyisola Ajayi is ready to face a strong field of challengers for the title of the 2025 national trials, which will be held at Yaba Tech, Lagos. Ajayi won the title for the first time last year at the Samuel Obomudia Stadium in Benin State with a time of 10.14 seconds, beating Alaba Akintola, who followed closely to take second in 10.16 seconds, while 2023 champions Usherutise Otseriki claimed third in 10.22 seconds. This year, Ajayi will face the likes of Israel Okun, Fakoredele Adekalu, Favour Shea, Olaolu Olutunde, and other contenders to defend his title. And still on sports, the capital city of Abuja in Nigeria is set to bustle with activities with the arrival of teams for the 2025 Confederation of African Volleyball Under-18 Boys and Girls Beach Championship. This event, which is scheduled to run from August 1 to 7, will see as many as 20 countries on the continent battle it out on the sands for the right to be called Junior Champions of Africa. Day one of this championship will witness the arrival of all participating teams on August 1, with action expected to kick off later during the course of the weekend. President of the Beach Volleyball Commission, Musa Nimrod, had given assurances on Nigeria's readiness in hosting heat-free competition. All is set for Nigeria to host the 2025 CAF Under-18 Beach Volleyball Championship in Abuja. We may have set up machineries to ensure that the tournament runs smoothly. And as Global Television News Express comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. On Global TV News, we told you that the federal government has reaffirmed its commitment to creating a supportive legal environment that encourages technological progress while safeguarding rights and promoting responsible use of creative and innovative works. In business, we told you that the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, says the compressed natural gas policy is central to Nigeria's energy transition agenda. On the foreign scene, we told you President Donald Trump's administration has unveiled a range of new tariffs due to take effect in 1 week on most United States trading partners. And finally, in sports, we told you the capital city of Abuja in Nigeria is set to bustle with activity with the arrival of teams from the 2025 Confederation of African Volleyball Under-18 Boys and Girls Beach Championship. And that is it on News Express. A quick reminder, the Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and StarTime channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using the handle @GlobalTVNG. I am Priscilla Obasi. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening.